Chapter 2.
I'm Eric Cargill.
And I'm Rachel Elnar, and this is Cheers and Tears.
Design Leadership Tales Retold.
All right, Eric, these are good friends I met a long time ago through our AIGA leadership. They are the team behind Hersick+Webster Creative Partners in Martinsburg, West Virginia, blending systems and storytelling to create real, lasting impact. Please welcome Laurel Webster and James Jamey Hersick.
Hello.
Hey, team.
Welcome, you guys.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having us.
Welcome.
It has been a beat.
How is West Virginia?
Surprisingly pleasant this weekend. We
Is it?
had so much humidity, so much rain. It puts Seattle, I think, in the dust with rain.
Right.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been gorgeous, and it's been really lovely this weekend.
Yeah. Feels like summer.
Fantastic.
Yeah, like good summer.
Good.
All right, James and Laurel, would love to know, how did you meet? Because to me, this is when everyone talks about you. I think even Josh Silverman brought this up. Oh, well, James and Laurel, they met at a leadership retreat. I'm like, okay, this is a story we need to have on the podcast.
Oh boy,
Data.
data.
It wasn't a leadership retreat.
Yeah.
But it was an AIGA conference.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
Pivot.
Pivot in
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Well, I was still in California at the time. I'm from Southern California originally, and I brought a student group from Cal State Fullerton.
I was there because we were doing it was like right kind of like a year into launching Design for Good stuff, and we were doing like a pop-up museum. So like a couple of the projects that I worked on with some of the folks were kind of part of that. So we were just all there doing sessions and stuff during the conference. So
Yeah, so my details are a little different than his details. We were in, it was a Design for Good, like breakout, I think it was. You were there listening. I was there listening. I think Justin Ahrens was one of the panelists on the panel there. And
I don't remember.
did I say something like that was a good
Oh,
question
you
or
loved my
something?
question.
You asked a good
You
question. I don't
loved my
remember what the question was.
It's a great question. It was something to like, how the heck do we pay for all this crap? Right? Like, how are we going to get paid for this work? Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Anyhow.
a great session.
Yeah.
It was a good session. Thanks, Justin.
So were you aware of each other? Did you know that
No.
you were, okay, you were not aware of each other?
The best part, is that like later that night, I think it was that night, or maybe like 2 days later, I
It was
was
a couple days
with
later.
Don Zanonis, and we were like, I was like, who is that girl? I know we know who she is. Like, I know her. And she's like,
And this
no,
was my first
no,
conference.
you don't. And I'm like, yes, we do. I know who that person is. And then there you go. I don't know. We've been talking ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that.
It was your first conference, so Laurel, were you in leadership at all or not yet?
Not yet. So at that point, as someone that was on a 7-year degree track, because prior to graphic design, I was a double major with piano performance as well. And
wow.
design was the one that stuck. I like to sleep a little too much to try and keep both of those going for all 4 years. But I was one of the founding members of Cal State Fullerton's AIGA student chapter under the Orange County chapter. And I was the vice president. And so one of my good friends, still good friends, Ashley Snowy Lara, her and I were, let's get some students together and let's make this happen. So we felt kind of like the mother hens of the group, being the older, if you will, senior students. And we had 2 or 3 other, it was all girls crew, which was super fun. And at that point, from Orange County, getting to Phoenix is an easy drive with a couple in and outs along the way. And we made our way out there.
We just hung out. And then
You want
I
to
went
dance with
home.
me, though?
No, I would not dance with you.
At the after
I was
party?
talking to
Nope.
I don't even know who I was with. I was with Mark Dudlick, I think. And I don't remember. We were talking typography, so I didn't want to dance.
Bummer.
Hey, I would have been the same way. Same thing on my side. Any leadership retreats after that or any other AIGA conferences after that together?
Yes.
We did San Francisco.
We did San
together.
Francisco together, and that was still at the point where we were dating long distance. So airplanes make for really expensive dates, y'all.
We did that for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would come back here to West Virginia for either like a long weekend or a week. And then similarly, you would come to Southern California. You did that a couple times too.
Yeah, like we basically, I guess, like that year, we kind of like talked off and on, and then like I had to do like this. I was going to I had to go to the Phoenix Design Summit,
That's right.
and then I had to go to Salt Lake City for that leadership retreat. So in between, we had been talking for like, I don't even know how many months it was, but like
I'm not
probably
sure.
almost like 9 months at that point.
Yeah.
We weren't even sure if we were going to try to do this
Yeah.
dating thing or not. And then in between, I went to California to spend her birthday with her.
That's right.
And that was 2012.
I don't know. Time is
Something
so
like
weird
that.
anymore. Yeah.
So then we were like, cool, let's do this. So then we dated for like, I don't know. We did airplane rides back and forth for months.
Yeah, we did
that
about
was-
every 6 or so weeks we were flying.
Wow.
I was really good at red eyes at that point too.
And racked up some miles, I imagine.
Yeah, those were the days.
So tell us also about your AIJ leadership. Like what chapter, what was your role?
I'll let you go first. 'Cause
Yeah, I was
you were
with Blue
first.
Ridge, which no longer, I don't think it exists
It
anymore.
doesn't. It got taken over, not taken over, but it merged with Baltimore chapter.
Yeah, so I was like, I got roped into being treasurer by like a former employee back in like 2006 or 7, and then vice president and president of that chapter. So I was on the board for I don't know, 6, 8, 10 years, something. I don't remember how. I don't think it was that long, but and in that process, like created some different kind of programming, and they got me roped into coming to leadership retreats and presenting on that stuff. But I think my first leadership retreat was Omaha, where I met you.
Yes.
Aw.
Omaha.
Omaha.
Great. That was such a great, fun. Yeah, because
There's
nothing
stories
was
about
open,
that.
so it was amazing.
It was crazy. All right. So Laurel.
While I was finishing out with Cal State Fullerton, I saw through the student chapter and was active as a member of the Orange County chapter, but didn't get involved with leadership till moving here. And I think it was, I guess, probably 6 or 7 months after moving here, there was a meeting with the Blue Ridge chapter because there was talks of them dissolving because the membership had gotten so low. I was at that meeting, and I think you came to that meeting with me too. I think there were under 20 members, and they were talking about dissolving.
Ooh.
And as someone that had just moved cross country, was living with my boyfriend at the time, and was looking for extra connection, I was like, I'll be president. So, I mean, a couple weeks later, I was sitting down with the prior president and got a notebook of here's everything that we have and see ya. And went from there. So I think that was like in the spring. That would have been, I think, it was the Colorado leadership retreat. Was that
Denver?
Denver. So that was my first one. It was great because somehow I think I met Jenny and Brandon Shanley at Pivot in Arizona, and then they were there at the leadership, and it was like, oh, I have friends here. This is awesome. Look, I know people. So yeah, that was my first one, and I was the only person from Blue Ridge at that point. There wasn't anyone else, but it was great because the following year was that Michigan,
Grand Rapids.
Grand
Grand
Rapids.
Rapids.
That's the one. You guys are on it. So I was able to bring a board member, my vice president at that point, Kathy Bruce, with me, and we did a couple more after that too, and it was great. So
Yeah, Blue Ridge was small but mighty. Like it's so
truly
it's so
was.
crazy because we were like the National Student Design Competition Flux came out of that chapter.
Yeah.
Like Clockwork came out of that chapter. Like it was pretty crazy what we were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
But like I guess geographically because we were like this little node and we were surrounded by DC and Baltimore, it made it I don't know.
It was hard, but also good because like the benefit was like if DC or Baltimore were doing something, it was like, hey, let's get a group of people to go out there. Within like the first 6 months of me being president, what was it when we had Kit Henricks come out? What was the big.
Clockwork, probably.
It wasn't Clockwork. No, we just had him come and speak. But what was the big? Was it the 200th anniversary
Oh, the flag.
of the flag?
Yeah.
And you know how Kit is with flags and antiques in general. So we had partnered with AIGA Blue Ridge, or sorry, not Blue Ridge, with Baltimore. And so we did an event for Kit there, and then we did an event at Blue Ridge. And what was great is it wasn't just, our membership, which had grown a little bit at that point. I mean, we're talking probably under 50 people, but he drew in community members from like the Ad Federation that was very popular at the time in our area, as well as just community in general. And it was phenomenal, the outpouring of support that we got. And it gave us a good little boost to keep our chapter going. And then Flux is another great example too. You started that.
Well,
that
it was Kristen. Kristen started
Okay.
it. I think I was like,
That's right, because I was at
I was on the
Shepherd
board.
University.
Yeah. But then we like really blew it up. It was started like a local thing, but then it went like crazy national. So
Yeah.
and international.
It went
even.
international.
It was wild.
One of the years that we had, I think we had over 3,000 entries because it's an online student design competition.
What?
We restructured the pricing and some of the categories to update it to be more modernized, if you will, right? Including some more digital aspects to it. And the first year after we restructured it, we had over 3,000 entries. It was mind-blowing.
It's
I don't think our judges knew what they were getting into.
Yeah.
I don't think we did.
It was nuts.
But then, it's still ongoing. The Baltimore chapter, similar how with Blue Ridge dissolving and into the Baltimore chapter, they took over Flux, and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I have seen Flux still going. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's
It
awesome.
started at the little college over here, Shepherd University, as a like local student design competition. Then it became like national, and then it became international. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it was funny because I know you, under your leadership, we had student chapters or councils within our chapter, but while we didn't have that experience under my leadership, we had very active student events such as Flux, but then we also had a really popular in-person student portfolio review too, where we would get students from around the region that would drive 2 or 3 hours to come in and do it.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I'm proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice work.
So, Laurel, I met you at Denver. That was also my first. And,
Oh, that's right.
and also at Grand Rapids. James, you and I have never met.
Yeah.
What are some stories that one of you or either of you or both of you could share together about, some memorable moments during retreats that stand out in your mind?
We never did any of the leadership retreats together.
Right.
Like he was always, when he was with, he was always part of my council, but, or part of my chapter, but he wasn't actively on the board. But he was like the active supporter regardless, because obviously
I had no choice.
you had no choice. But why don't you go first? Because we can kind of go in order, I guess, if you will.
Sure. I mean, it's for me. It was just like a lot. I made some great friends through it, but as far as like hilarity, really very right off the bat, icebreaker in Omaha. I'm like in this little group, and Debbie Millman's in the group, and I have no clue who anybody is. Right? Like it's like my first design conference, the thing that I'm the president of, and like it's something about like, tell us your favorite word and your least favorite word. And I'm like, oh, I know what my favorite word is. And I'm getting ready to drop an F-bomb. And Debbie's like, my least favorite word is the F-bomb. And I was like, this is going to go well.
It's amazing.
But
funny.
yeah, it was great. But yeah, I don't know. Like it just,
I did not know that.
yeah, it's really funny. I think and also like Omaha, because everything closed at like 11 o'clock or whatever it was, like the big atrium in that Holiday Inn or whatever the hell it was, where you're just like, it's up
Embassy
there.
Suites.
It's over
Embassy
there.
Suites.
It's down there.
Okay.
And there was like a jungle, a rainforest and it was terrible.
So Denver for me was a little bit of a blur because I still had a little bit of the initial shock of, oh my God, I'm doing this. Oh my God, I'm really doing this. And just the absorbing of all the new connections, kind of similar to like when you're at one of the conferences, you're just absorbing all the inspiration. the next year, which was Grand Rapids, there was a little more calm, I think, internal calm, if you will. But oh my gosh, we were in the hotel, and it's not that I didn't know about the pyramids happening before. I heard stories of them. I didn't see them though in Denver, and I hadn't seen them at one of the conferences. Not for lack of going to the after parties, we were there, but Grand Rapids went hard on the human pyramids. I don't remember who all was in it. I just remember these grand staircases. There were people on the top of the stairwell cheering down into the atrium, whatever the main area is. And I mean, it had to have been, they had grand ideas, but it was 6 or 7 people wide at the base. I don't think it actually got that tall, but I just remember the security guy just looking, just going,
What is wrong?
they actually doing this? Is this actually happening? And then he was like, oh, I should probably do something about this. Came over and fixed things up there. And I think that was my first almost introduction to the 6 a.m. club.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah. I almost lasted. I think it was like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I was like, I'm good. There's already people leaving for the airport. I need sleep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and everyone loved being there so much. I don't know, that had a different vibe. I mean, Omaha was great, was infamous for sure. But Grand Rapids was like the coming together of everyone. Even though Denver had the alumni, had the AIJ alumni leaders, like there was a lot of people there.
oh, yeah, I forgot
So-
about that.
So you saw a lot of leadership there. But Grand Rapids was almost like, oh, we're all together again. For some reason, it felt like everyone was doing everything, and everyone just let loose. So I can understand, being initiated to the 6 a.m. club because everybody loved that lobby. There was so many people there
It
all
was
the
so
time.
good. And I remember too the was it like the president's lunch or something? I think was like I forget if it was the first or the second day of the retreat too, but David Asari was there, kind of, if you will. I kind of almost envisioned him as like kind of like the wise one or sage, kind of overseeing everybody. But he helped, and he's always photographing.
Yes.
But he helped get all of the presidents together. I think at that one, and I think he did it. I think he did it at Raleigh too. I may not be remembering correctly, but we got a really great picture of all the presidents together during that luncheon. It's somewhere. Probably
I think I
on
saw it.
Facebook, but it exists somewhere because it'll do a throwback sometimes.
Right.
It's a staggering number of people representing, all the chapters across the states at that point. And I think we also had our one Middle East chapter too in presence there too.
Right. Was that Mo Saad?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
That's amazing. That was just the golden era, right? Like thinking about how many people were in leadership at the time who cared about their chapters,
Yeah.
and just how many of us there were.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Putting in the work with lots of grace, lots of humor, and good memories for it too.
Yeah. All right. So, do you remember any room parties?
Remember is a strange word. Yes, I have like they're just hints. Yeah, I mean, I think Minneapolis. Now it's okay. See, I wasn't even remember Minneapolis, but I definitely went to Minneapolis,
Oh.
and I can remember. I don't know if it was Minneapolis or not. I can remember doing some cool stuff there. But I remember there was when we ended up in Debbie Millman's room at some point. Everybody did,
Oh, wow.
everybody. I don't recall how or why, and that was just I don't know. There's just always Omaha was the thing where you had to go from room to room to room to room, but it all kind of
Yes.
comes together. But I think that was the key. Is like I don't even. It's just I don't recall sleeping at all ever, but it
That's a
wasn't because
theme.
we were like going crazy or going hard. You were just like with your people and having conversations, and they just didn't stop.
Omaha was nonstop, honestly. We
Yeah,
would
it was
be
great.
doing the sessions during the day, and then there would be some sort of like Adobe party. I remember you, Jamie, you and I were hanging out at the Adobe party. And I was like, okay, 9 p.m. Now what's up? Now
Yeah,
what do we
yeah.
do?
Well, it was fun too because I actually remember like because I was all by myself, like LA, and you guys had like 100 million people. You guys were like, we're just gonna adopt you. Blue Ridge is now part of LA. And it was like, great. That's fine. I'll just hang out with you guys all weekend long, and it was awesome. Yeah,
It's a good
It
chapter
was.
to hang out with.
yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a cool. I mean, that was like for me. That was my first leadership retreat, and it was also sort of a shift in perspective on what I thought it was possible to do, not only like with our chapter, but also professionally, and then also like a different change of vibe from AIGA. Because when I was in college, I was a little cliquey, and I always felt like the outsider. And then I was like, oh wait, these are my people. This is cool. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think that last point is one of the things that I just love truly in all the ways about AIJ is like, one, we wouldn't be sitting in the same room having this conversation with you guys if, AIJ and meeting at a conference none of this would have happened, period. But just being able to make friends truly all over the world through AIG and people that we're still in touch with today is really special. But room parties, I'm trying to think. I think Denver, I didn't feel in enough yet at that point for it. But at Grand Rapids, I think Brendan Shanley, am I remembering right? Like he would bring like different types of beer, and it would be kind of like a beer tasting situation in his room.
What?
Yeah. So there were a few of us there, and we did that. And I think that was the one that also had the rooftop pool. And we met for kind of like a pre-happy hour before the actual after party there and did that. So that was a room, if you will, at that point. But then in Raleigh, then because Gage and I, along with Lenny and Leticia, who was on staff at HQ for a while, I don't think Leticia was able to make it there, but Lenny and I engaged were there, and we all decided to bring local beer from our different areas because I drove down with a couple of my board members, and they each had theirs. So I don't remember whose room we met up in, but we did kind of a beer swap at one point, and then the 6 a.m. club showed up in full force in that lobby. But it was like it was a beer exchange too. It was like literally people had like their little coolers and their little 6-packs, and it was just different beers getting traded all around. And someone did have like a little air horn too, which didn't last long.
Oh my gosh.
That hotel had to put up with a lot. On top of the fact that it was really, really, really hot. I don't think it was as hot as Atlanta from what I heard, because I was not at the Atlanta retreat, but it was hot.
But you made it through with all your friends around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good times. Lots of laughs. Probably some cry laughing too. Things get goofy at that hour.
yeah.
I miss that so much.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. So the landscape's not working well, or at least not for me.
No, it's a little bit like this.
It's very avant-garde though.
I like it.
Yeah.
How
I
about
like
this?
it, but
Yeah.
Portrait
okay.
works.
Yeah.
Portrait.
Yeah, so I've been, I'm at the office. I work at the Space Needle,
Yeah.
and I've got a wired internet connection, and I do IT for the Space Needle currently, and I've been locked out of the system because our security is so delicate. So
Yeah.
I locked myself out of the system.
Oh no.
Okay.
Just because of it. I won't explain why.
It's fine. Technology in the
the
Pacific
video-
Northwest. You know.
Here we
Yeah.
are. Now I'm on my phone. Thank you
Okay.
for your patience.
No, you're good.
Appreciate
Again,
it.
you missed all the good stories. You asked a great question, then you were like, poof. And I was like, oh.
You're gonna love this episode.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
This is going to be like a great bloopers reel, too.
Oh, yeah, the best episode I've never been a part of.
Oh.
Oh, well,
Not
you're
from
here
like
now,
effort.
Eric.
I'm here now.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you both about what you're doing now, especially in your firm, and if there are any lessons that you inherited from your leadership time through AIJ that contribute to your leadership now.
The answer is yes. I think the lessons of just leading a chapter are huge into client work, into a lot of what we do is involving facilitation with communities, municipalities, and humans in general. But I think about like the retreat and some of the sessions on like leadership styles, and some of our special speakers that we had in talking about best practices and the like, and just hearing from other chapter experiences too. They definitely impact me. Like, I may not think about it, actively, but the lessons are learned there and they're practiced on a regular basis. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was huge. I remember like I think it was Omaha, but Sean Adams talking, right? And like I remember driving home from the airport being like so bummed that I was coming home, but like I'm really excited because like I was like, this is a before and after moment, right? So then like literally I can trace like everything that's happened and the stuff I'll be working on in the morning 100% back to that time, because being in that room gave me the confidence to grow and be in other rooms, right? And so like, and have all these people that you thought were super cool or like out there were just, I've learned like they're just people, so like you can go do cool shit too. And so like coming out of that, creating Clockwork, and then that getting me invited, then being part of Design for Good, going to Alabama Design Summit, like all of that stuff, like that continues today. So we're working on like some of the work we're working on right now. It's like, if you told me I was going to be doing this 10 years ago, I'd have been like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But we're doing like, we're working with we've kind of pivoted. Graphic design is still something we do, but we're, really a lot of the facilitation, a lot of strategy, and almost all of our branding work is around sort of understanding place and helping people like talk about their place. Mm-hmm. So that's most of the work we do right now, is really just working with communities to help them tell their story and figure out like what their assets are and how they can pull them together to help their community get better or attract people into it. So,
and the design thinking is still, it's the foundation of all those conversations and the facilitations that we're doing too. And
yeah, but you come full circle. Like my best friend, my best friend I met through that. My wife I met through that. And, we're working right now in the city in Birmingham. I mean, we have so much work in Alabama right now, which is crazy, but we're working on we're part of a team that's doing a trail to connect redlined communities in Birmingham to the Civil Rights Monument, which is going for UNESCO World Heritage Site. And we're doing like the wayfinding and the interpretive and supporting the community engagement and the branding and all that, like all these things that like, so something I would have never even been on my radar like 10 years ago. Right. But you can tie all that back to being in a room. Right. So that's the lesson, be in the room.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. And all the more to like, not only like the work that we're doing, but like to the, like this happening, right? Like we're in a room together around what was being introduced that year at Pivot Conference, which was the whole Design for Good, not movement, but the, what do you want to call it?
Initiative.
I guess an initiative, yeah, that AIGA was taking on. And there was the living principles piece of that too. But, for me, coming to, my first conference at that point and looking for how design could do good in the world and like really seeing like, oh my gosh, this is possible and this can happen. It's huge for me to be able to not only know like, one, we met because of that, and we've intentionally designed and curated the work that we do surrounding that as our foundation of not only like who we are, but what we do. But then I also think of like where Design for Good went and maybe pivot is kind of the funny word here, right? Considering that's where we started, but pivoted to where like it became like the path to impact focus. I think of like Emerge and that task force that led to some of these ideas and other committees and outreaches, if you will, of AIGA. And, when you rolled off of AIGA, not only from like the national leadership side of Design for Good, and I kind of showed up into that with Blue Ridge, and then got involved into the leadership with Design for Good / Path to Impact. It was almost a passing of the baton, but then also like seeing it merge a bit more too. But I think part of the reason why I was so excited about it was not only because it was new people and new leadership for me, but it was also a way of, in a sense, almost giving back to not only what he helped curate for us at a national level with AIGA, but making sure like it was hitting home in Blue Ridge, as well as, these are things that we could use in our everyday practices. And, I may not pick up like our Path to Impact book that we created, but certainly, the conversations, our group had around that. Justin Aarons, ironically, full circle, right, being part of that. Leticia, oh goodness, her last name's blanking on me entirely, who was on staff. Wolf, thank you. Thank you.
Me, of all people.
You did that. That was so good. Gold star. But then Lenny Gray Morris, and myself, and the collaboration to bring that together and see how it could truly be functional for not only designers, but for communities, for people, for businesses, and just knowing like, those things already existed, but we brought them together in one format, right? One tool. And again, just something that we still use, and I'm very proud of that, and on all the fronts.
It's a great way to bring impact to your community and also to your industry. So that's
yeah.
Yeah.
And we were exploring what that looked like, the community piece too, like especially having moved here, moving cross country, getting involved in the community here, I think was more, I don't know if I ever vocalized it, but it became something that was important to me. And then you playing like almost tour guide, if you will, of like helping like me explore the area that I was in and new to. We both kind of just unanimously were like, oh, we're doing this within the community. And, as much as we're doing this work, as Jamie mentioned, in Alabama, we've done a lot of work, not only in our own backyard, literally, with starting a farmer's market here, as much as we do work in the state
Wow.
too. So I'm very proud of that.
That's amazing.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah, it's a blur.
It's
just a blur.
it's a blur, but I mean, I love the story that how this grew and how you've adapted over time and have used the skills and the leadership that you have absorbed over the years and have elevated all of this stuff, and you're making it happen. And it's a spectacular story.
I like to think so.
Yeah, like on Monday when I go to work and I'm like, right?
Sure.
But it's fine. And then when you like look back and you're like, oh wow, we have been really bad over the last, we've been so crazy busy the last couple months that we haven't had time to like even like share anything we've been working on for the last year and a half. And like when you look back at the list of things we've done, we're like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So it is wild. Like, but to think like, like that question I had in the room, like, how the heck are you going to pay the bills if you're trying to do this work? Like, what's going to happen? And like, that's kind of what we do now. Like,
Yeah.
there's always some component of it,
There was a year, I think at leadership, I don't remember who it was that was our keynote speaker, but someone was talking about core values or your guiding principles, right? But it was also a year that was really, again, pivotal for Jamie and I, where we were, we had work from just a variety of different industries and a variety of different work, a lot of it being graphic design first led. But it was also a challenging year for us because we weren't finding a great deal of fulfillment, I think, for either of us. And we also I had some family stuff going on. And I just remember there was a plane ride. It wasn't a book that AIGA recommended, but there was a plane ride where you had just finished doing like your guiding principles, and I was diving into the book afterwards. Guiding principles, again, or core values, right? And going through the process of really defining what those were for each of us. And we do this often, even to this day, where he'll read a book and then I'll read the book and then we share cliff notes. Sometimes I'll just get the cliff notes.
So cute. Love it.
But, we did our core values, and it was an opportunity for us not only personally, as partners in life, but then also as partners in business to go, what are our core values personally, but then how does that translate to our business and the type of people that we want to work with and the type of businesses that we want to support or communities that we want to support. And I think of our AIGA leadership experiences and, those conversations, those seeds perhaps were planted there, but then they grew and grew and grew. And then I think transformed us to be able to have those types of conversations that truly took us in the direction that we're headed now with great intention.
Oh, so great. Hey, I wanted to ask you, your Blue Ridge membership was so small.
Yeah.
So what were the ties between you? I bet you were really, really close. How did you benefit each other?
The Blue Ridge chapter, like benefiting.
Well, the members benefit each other because it wasn't you would just come into hundreds of thousands of people, right? I mean, it was really tight.
Yeah.
The whole chapter, everyone knew each other really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone benefited from that intimacy and from that trust.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I honestly believe the biggest the chapter ever was maybe getting somewhere between 150 and 200 members when we had big student chapters.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's as big as it ever got, right? And that was like grinding to get there. But so to your point, like the usual suspects, like the room was pretty much the same 20 to 30 people all the time.
Yeah.
You really got to, like, get to know what people were doing and what they wanted to do and what they were working on, and really felt like we were in this, we're just here hanging out together. You'd kind of created your own little personal community.
That's true. And, when I took over such a strong way of putting it, but, our membership grew. I think we got close to 80 or 90 under my leadership. And, we would always have like guests that would come in that weren't members per se, but, they were interested. But, oftentimes when my board was sitting together and there was, I think 6 to 8 of us at that point, recognizing, we're going to be a third of the room showing up at an event, we really we designed what we knew we wanted to see. And it wasn't for a lack of surveying and asking people in our area what they wanted to see too, but oftentimes, if we wanted to see like a bookbinding workshop, we had someone from DC came in and did that. And then, we had a hands-on bookbinding event. If students wanted to see something, we would make that happen for them. And certainly, I think we had a lot more interest if there was, one college or one university that had interest and we could make an event happen around it. It wouldn't necessarily happen at that university or college campus, but we would make it happen in a centralized area, and we were able to collect people, from the surrounding chapters or from the surrounding communities. But, our chapter, we had a social component, certainly. Obviously that's part of what AIG is, period. But there was an educational slant that was there for us. Like we had some professional practices type stuff. But we never really set off with that. It wasn't something that was not well received, but we didn't have good turnout for that. So, we stuck with what we had good turnout with, and that's okay. It worked for us at that time.
Yeah, the students love coming out. They are very hungry, right? In every chapter, we really love the students because they come out in full force.
And it's so cool to see like some of them now, right? Like,
oh my goodness,
and where they're at. Like, it's really cool because there's been so much time since I was involved, like with it, like to actually see some of these people that are out and about being just super amazing now.
And I think of like the few years of like your leadership with the chapter and my few years with the chapter in leadership position, and like, college students, even the few high school students, what they were seeing and experiencing from a transformation of technology, of, what is design, what you can do with design, and the uncertainty, but also the curiosity surrounding that. And I think AIGA was also able to take some of that, not only at the local level, but at the grander, more national scale of that too. So I think that was part of the draw too, is, and certainly for me as a student, it was too. So, it's a decade, 15, heck, even 20 years of just immense transformation.
Yeah. I forgot. I mean, I was just completely blanked on it. We had that event called Mock Up, which we had the different student teams adopted a nonprofit and then did work for this nonprofit and had a professional designer mentoring the team. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot about that, and the news came out and covered it. Like,
Yeah, that was a good one.
completely forgot about. That's so cool. Like, our little chapter, like, always tried to do badass shit. Like, it was so crazy.
There was one year, it was Ram Castillo from Australia who had the book about mentoring. I'm blanking on his book's name right now, but he connected with AIGA at HQ and said, hey, I'm doing a book tour in the US. Whatever chapters want to have me, I will be there. And picked him up from the airport. We had set up a couple different events and put a call out saying, hey, we have this Australian designer and author coming in. And we had our own council suited event. But then, and I think it was Baltimore or DC also had him. Maybe both of them did. But there was a school, was that in Linganore? In near Frederick, Maryland.
The high school.
But there was a high school that was interested in having him come out. And so we made that happen. And he spent the night and came back out and picked him back up the next morning and took him over there, introduced him. We had a whole high school auditorium filled for him.
Wow.
To talk about the power of design, what to look for with a design mentor, how to get started. And the teacher that we connected with there, she sent me a text or an email the next day, and it was the front page of their local newspaper. Like, Grand Center of this happening. I was like,
So cool.
oh,
Wow.
something's right here. Something's working. This is good. This is a good direction.
That's amazing. What I love is that because you have a small chapter and you have so many voices, they're not just members and volunteers or members in
Right.
leadership. You have members who are also volunteers, who have a say, who have agency in terms of what, the direction of the chapter. So yeah, I think you have a more active chapter when you have a smaller chapter. So yeah, cheers to you. And it sounds like there was a lot of output and there was a lot of great outcomes from it.
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. There was definitely a lot of work put into it, but we celebrated every bit of it during the outcomes. That's for sure.
Amazing. Well, I wanted to say congratulations, and I'm sorry that Eric fell off.
We lost him. I can't wait for his recap. It's going to be
We're
great.
gonna have to find him like a really good like avatar or something, just to like have him when he's not on screen, just like
Go.
have him in there.
Have a little deep fake
Little head
on.
cut out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure like some AI can like put him back in. It'll be fine.
Oh, that'd be
sure.
really fun. Like
That'd
do
be
an
fun.
AI version of him in between.
Got it.
I am scared, honestly.
I'm not
scared
sure
of all
yet.
that.
I have days. Friday I was really mad at it. Today I think I got it doing what I needed to do again. So
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you again. I just wanted to say cheers and thank you again.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
great to
such
see you.
a great time, and I can't believe it's been so long that
Crazy.
we haven't caught up. but we get to-
Crazy. Yeah.
but at least we were able to do it on the podcast.
Hey, happy early birthday.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Happy
Thank
early
you.
birthday.
All right, it was great to have you both. Cheers
Yep.
again as well.
See ya.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers and Tears will be back next time with more design leadership tales retold.
Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast with your creative community, design leaders, and friends.
Cheers and Tears Design Leadership Tales Retold is a production of Chapter 2 and hosted by us, Rachel Elnar and Eric Cargill. This episode was produced and edited by Rachel Elnar. Podcast graphics by Eric Cargill. Animation by Verso Design and Megato Design.
The theme music track is Loose Ends by Silver Ships Plastic Oceans. Follow Cheers and Tears on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube podcasts, or wherever you get your audio and video podcasts. Subscribe to our email list at cheersandtears.com so you don't miss an episode.